Hey, how are you?
Doing good, and yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. So, could you tell us a little bit about yourself? What school you played for?
Okay, yes.
And what sport?
Okay, yes. I played for the University of South Carolina. Back in '94 to '98, played football there. Um, came from. I got recruited out of high school from Miami, Florida, and yeah,
All right. Do you mind if I ask you a couple questions?
no problem.
All right. Do you think college athletes should get paid?
Do I think college athletes should get paid? Well, with me being a former Division I college athlete at the University of South Carolina, I would say, and this is my opinion, yes, I do think college athletes should get paid. The reason why I think college athletes should get paid is because of what they got to endure during the games. You know, how much money they bring into the university. You know, the university is getting paid millions and millions of dollars. And I do believe that college athletes should get a little bit of that. Not also saying that, you know, the amount of time that they use their names on back of jerseys and also, you know, in bookstores and things like that, and they don't see nothing from it. I just think that college athletes should get paid a little bit, even if it's a stipend, you know, per month, whatever it is, but I do think they should get paid.
What would be the advantages if they did get paid? If they were to get paid?
But the advantages of college athletes would get paid, just like I said in the earlier questions, that their name is getting used on back of jerseys. You know, also video games, when you know your kids playing video games, that you know you get the names on, you know, in the video games. Also, just have the advantages of having a job also. You know, because in college you can't have a job, so if you're able to work, you know, you can get paid like that. That also be an advantage of college athletes getting compensation for that.
Okay. How would it have affected you while you were in college if you were to get paid at the time?
Well, at the time, you know, I came to school basically kind of like with nothing really. So if I was able, and not just me, but a lot of other my former players, if I was able to get paid, you know, just during the weekends, you know, some weekends, man, it just be hard when you don't have, you know, any money to kind of go out, or for example, if you know, being an athlete, football, basketball, whatever the case may be, back then we only had 3 meals we could eat at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And you know, being athletes, you know, we usually want to eat more than 3 times. So if you don't have no money, you know what I'm saying, you kind of scraping, you know, for money to get, you know, to supplement other food to eat during the day. So if I did have income, you know, that wouldn't be an issue. Just on days when we don't have games, you know, I buy weeks if you want to go out to the movies or go out on a date or whatever, you know, you want to have a little bit of change in your pocket to do that. So I know right now they actually trying to put something in place where they are going to pay athletes some type of stipend to kind of go with what they're doing now in school.
Do you think gender plays a role in this question?
Do I think gender plays a role? No, I don't. I don't think gender plays a role in this question because I do believe that female athletes as well as male athletes should be compensated for what they do on and off the field or on and off the court. Female athletes, you know, they put in just as much hard work as male athletes do, and I think that if the male athlete get paid, I don't see no reason why female athletes shouldn't get paid too, because they also they might not bring as much money as football or basketball, those two main sports bring in, but they do bring in income to the school. And I really do believe that they should get paid for their time at the school.
All right, well, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm good, Kelvin. How are you?
I'm fine. So could you please tell us a little bit about yourself and what sport you played in college?
Sure. I played softball at Colgate University up in New York.
Like you did?
Mm-hmm.
And how would you say that experience was?
It was definitely a learning experience. I loved playing softball, and it was great to be able to have part of my education paid for because I could play a sport.
All right. Well, do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions?
Not at all.
All right. Do you think college athletes should be able to get paid?
No, I don't.
No, why not?
Because you're already having your education being paid for. You already are getting paid. You're being compensated with a free education or partially free education.
Okay. So what would be the advantages if they got paid or if they didn't get paid?
What are advantages if people did get paid?
If they didn't get paid?
If they didn't get paid? Well, I don't know about necessarily advantages if they don't get paid, but I know that there are more disadvantages if they do get paid.
Okay.
You already, as a college athlete, receive a lot of free stuff besides part of your tuition or room and board or whatever being paid for. You already get an incredible amount of equipment and attire, whether it's warm-up stuff, practice gear, whatever it is. You get a lot of equipment and a lot of clothing. But what could happen? I mean, what I see happening, and this is just based on my experience, both as a player and then as a coach who has helped people get college scholarships for softball, is that then you're going to end up with people who are being compensated in more than one way. So if you have someone who's getting both free tuition, free room and board, and getting paid, I think for one, you take away a lot of what makes college athletics great. Part of why people prefer to watch college sports than pro sports is because people play in college because they love to play. And because it's a way, I mean, most college athletes play because they love to play. And it's an opportunity to continue to play outside of high school. And why is it that people prefer to watch the college baseball World Series versus the regular World Series for pro? And it's because college athletes leave it all on the field all the time. There's a difference in the amount of heart that goes into it when you're getting compensated in other ways. I mean, and is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I think that's up to each person to decide, but I don't think it's a good thing. I don't think that people should get paid when you're already being compensated. I don't think that the rules should change.
Okay. Do you think gender will play a role?
Oh, absolutely. Gender plays a huge role in college athletics right now, and the amount of money that athletes receive and the way in which teams are treated. I'll give you an example. When I was in college, my coach told me she had to, quote, pull strings to get me in, and I got a 1320 out of 1600 on my SAT. One of my classmates from high school, he got in the 900s for his SAT. He had no problem getting in because he played football. There's a difference there, and that's not fair, and that would be accentuated greatly if it was, if there was pay in addition to that. I know that when I was in college, there was a difference between what kind of meal you got too between the softball team and the football team. And where you go when you're on road trips. Football team always goes to a steakhouse. Softball team goes, not to a steakhouse. So big difference. Difference in the number of amount of stuff you get, and someone could say, well, it has to do with how much money the team brings in. Well, yeah, that does to a certain extent, but that doesn't mean that, when you compare the number of players, football teams have, 120 plus sometimes. They have over 100 people. Over 100 people on the team. Softball teams have at most 20. You're talking about, yes, a fifth of the people. But I think gender would accentuate the gap between how males and females are treated if there was pay involved.
Well, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, Kelvin.
That some compensation would certainly help them, especially with the time and effort that they put in. And in essence, they are getting paid, especially those on scholarships. Now, the others aren't, but you'd have to come up with a fair way. I believe that there should be some type of compensation that's fair to all divisions or level of college play.
All right, what would be the benefits if they actually got paid money, like as a paycheck?
They wouldn't have to worry as much about taking care of some of the personal needs that they have, which they don't have time to work and actually earn, get that money in their hands to take care of. But that's what I think.
All right, do you think gender plays a role?
Gender shouldn't play a role. Title IX, remember, brought about a fairness and equity into sports, but certainly you couldn't give the males more than the females. You'd have to make it fair, and I think a way of coming up with fairness is the main issue, or one of the major issues that colleges and universities would face if they were to employ pay.
All right, thank you.